And welcome to the show. This is the Jay and Cody Show. Sadly, Cody's not with us right now. And it's a sad story, but Cody's recovering. He was in surgery all night last night. It seems that he was choking, gagging on something. A young black stallion named Tyrone, I believe. And so he caused some sort of tear in his esophagus, but he'll be back. I think definitely for the election show Tuesday. Hopefully he can talk. It depends how much more he hangs out with Tyrone. I'm not sure. But luckily, I got my cousin here, Julia. I am very happy. I can't do this myself. I've tried. I can just, I talk a lot.
You have to have somebody to feed off of.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And I decided, I'll take this opportunity to also address something else. Especially with our other show, you get a lot of Twitter comments. Basically, they have an issue with my language.
Huh.
Well, and not
I can't imagine why.
Not the jokey kind of thing. And I want to fix it too. I understand.
Just the basic cussing. That's what they have a problem with.
No, it's my slurs.
Oh yeah. Well,
And it's something I want to fix too. But here's the thing, and I would kind of deem you the most PC person I know, without being
that's probably
overbearing about
That's
it.
pretty fair. Yeah.
But retarded.
Yeah.
Not a good word, right?
Don't use it.
I hate
I actually.
But it was a real word.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. It was a word.
It means something.
But so was the N-word at one point.
Was it actually
Yeah.
In the dictionary?
People used it all the time.
I guess. How is retarded offensive?
Okay, so I actually had this argument with my boss not too long ago. I had a kid come in, and she was cutting his hair, and that's fine, whatever. And he started running his mouth about, that's gay, that's retarded, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of took that, because I am pretty PC, and I do kind of try really hard to make sure that people, they don't have to agree with me, and that's fine, but you need to be aware of who you're around, because you may offend somebody.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And there's, people really have kind of become giant pansies about shit, and everybody's offended by something, but there are some things that you really should, if I took this bottle of water over, somebody's gonna be offended by it. But then there are some things.
I have to clean it up, but
right. But there are some things that you really should just be aware of, because people do get offended easily. I feel like the whole gay thing is offensive. The whole retarded thing is offensive. Not as far as I've listened to your show, and I have no problem with your show. I found it pretty funny. But when you're in a work setting, when you're in a business setting,
yeah.
When you're in a business setting, you just don't. There are certain things that you have to be aware of. And that's all I meant. But
in general, though, there's some, one word I'm trying to not use at all is fag.
Yeah.
I use fag a lot, and I understand it. Someone explained it to me that when they used to burn the witches, they had those bundles of sticks, they call them faggots.
Right.
They believed gay people didn't even deserve a pyre. They were that lowly.
Yeah.
And you hear that and you're like, fuck, that is fucked up. I need to stop. But what do you replace a word like that with?
You just don't.
But
you just, I don't know.
Okay, here's another cocksucker.
Cocksucker's funny though.
Well,
it's funny.
Right, but is that one okay?
And that's where that line rides, I think. There are some things that are very obviously you don't say fag. You don't say retarded. You don't say that's gay. You don't say the N-word. You don't call somebody a spick. You don't call some.
Well, I do.
You do, and that's fine. But I get, there's this hard line of things that you just don't do in society, and then there are these it's okay to call somebody a cracker. It's okay to call somebody a cocksucker.
See, I'm highly against cracker, by the way. I didn't know what that meant either. And then I heard that, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm offended by it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just, I don't know, I think it has a lot of just
I think in some ways we should just be ignorant about these words, and they won't
Ignorance
be
is
offensive.
bliss.
No, but like you said, like don't. I'm like, what do you replace? Okay, we started on retarded. How come it's okay to say moron or idiot or stupid?
I think because at one point, retarded was an actual term for a type of people.
But it was like a medical term.
It was a medical term, and then it became, I don't know why, but it became an offensive term, and I think a lot of that has to do with our PC society. In a way, and some of it has a lot to do with medical advances and understanding what these things really are, and that they're not actually slow, or they just have different disabilities.
Right? Yeah. There's a whole, umbrella, but I guess that's the one I have a hard time. And I don't even use it that often.
Right.
But I have a hard time
not using it when you do use it,
or just saying like, no, that one's done. Like, I could easily accept stupid or moron in its place because they were meant to be slanderous against somebody with the...
Right.
But retarded would, like, no. Like, that's a, I don't know. That's my take on. I also am in the same board of, like, if you're retarded, you're not offended by it because you're retarded. But, I don't know.
Right.
And, like, but... When I said, like, what do I replace fag with?
Right.
You gotta have, like, I don't care, like, what it is. If I'm by myself playing a game and, like, I don't know, I get beat or something, like, I'm gonna say something.
Right.
And,
what's
like,
gonna come out of your mouth?
Right. And everything that, I mean, cocksucker's up there.
Right.
Cunt. But...
That's a fun one. That's one of my favorite words.
Yeah, I love cunt.
Yeah, I don't know why people are so offended by it.
That's one of those words, though, that I notice...
I think it's because it's a harsh...
It's taken a backslide, though.
Has it?
I notice more people, like, not... I say cunt all the time, nothing. I say fag, and it's like, holy shit.
That's true.
You're saying the F word.
Or moist. I hate the word moist.
Moist is just a fun word.
It's a funny word.
What kind of... Do you want a dry cake?
No, I want a moist cake.
Exactly.
I want a fucking moist cake.
Exactly.
And I don't want you to get all gross about it.
Then who doesn't want a fucking moist cake?
Certainly not me.
My point. What would you say though is acceptable? Okay, and like the whole "that's gay" thing is very immature. And I agree.
It is.
But it's just a habit.
It is, but I think part of that too is just, and I won't lie. I wasn't always so PC, and certainly growing up had a lot to do with that. I mean, just the older I got, the more mature I got. But, and growing up around people who really did suffer through things like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, the whole gay thing was a big thing. Growing up. I mean, shit, you guys had bottles thrown at your head.
Right, no,
and called those things.
Yeah.
So...
I feel like I've honorary able to say... I mean, I'm not gay, by the way, but... people thought we were.
Yeah, because
you took shit for,
Yeah, but I think part of that too is understanding like how that actually affects somebody. Having bottles thrown at your head, having food thrown at. I mean, my sister used to.
Oh, it's horrible. It is, and like that.
And so I think really thinking about how that affects somebody and what that does to somebody.
No, I understand. Like. But here's my other question. Is queer okay?
I really think it depends on the company you're in.
Well, no, like, I see, like, LGBTQ. And so, like, I always thought that was questioning. But then when they announced it, I don't remember what I was listening to, but they said gay, whatever, all that whole list.
Right.
And queer.
Right.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
I don't know, and don't
like,
quote me on this, but it's its own.
Kid.
I think it's its own category now.
What does that mean?
Like you have the lesbian community, the bisexual community, the transgender community. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, like...
Well, it's queer.
I don't...
Oh, okay.
I said don't quote me, I don't know, but...
well, no, I was just wondering,
but I think it's its own...
What else
it's its own qualifier now.
Like,
there's pansexual, there's...
By the way...
all sorts of different
Do you think there's getting to be like too much of that?
Sia would be a better person to talk to about that. 'Cause she's much more knowledge than I am. I'm really
sure.
not. I don't know.
And I don't want to sound old.
You know,
I don't, but
it depends. It really depends on who you talk to. Because I have friends who are like pansexual, and which I don't entirely understand. But when they explain it to me, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like I get it. But like,
could you give me some sort of example of that? Because I don't understand.
People who like, and I don't know that this is necessarily pansexual, but like people who will use that as a qualifier to say like, I don't feel like love and my sexuality should be hindered by these borders of I am a lesbian, I am gay, I am straight. Like they don't feel like they should have to fit in this one category. Like they should be able to love whoever the fuck they want to love, and that should be their own fucking business.
Is that?
And I'm okay with that.
No, that's cool.
But I mean, like
as by labeling that though, aren't you?
But I feel like exactly. I feel like by
thing?
Labeling it, you're putting yourself into a category of No, I agree.
Which like most people, I don't think. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on this, but I don't think most people care. So like if you wear that like a badge, then they're gonna care.
I think it depends. I really think and I hate to say that, but like the person you are can offend so many people, and then half the time nobody gives a shit. Like when I go out, like when Ian and I go out, there will be times where nobody cares.
Why would someone care?
Well, because Ian's black.
See, yeah, no one knows that.
Yeah, no one knows that. But I don't think, but like, and so there will be times where nobody bats an eye, and that's not a big fucking deal, which it shouldn't be a big fucking deal.
I just meant like no one here.
No, I know, I wasn't, yeah. I get, anyway. But then there have been times where like I can't get a fucking drink in a bar because I am a white girl with a black man.
Really?
Yeah, I went to a bar and they came. They took Ian's drink. They took my friend's drink. They took my drink order. They left. They came back with they had my drink on her tray. She looked right at me. She gave Ian his drink. She gave Jen her drink. Looked at me and walked off and stood at the bar for an hour. Looking at me with my Coke. And then by the time all the ice and had watered down and everything, she brought it to me. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Was she?
Yeah. I was one of 3 white people, non-black people in the whole bar.
See, I've heard that. I've heard that
reverse racism is I mean, I don't know that it's reverse racism, but that's what people call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's very much a thing.
Black racism to white people. Mm-hmm. And definitely Christine, who's been on our show before, she only dates black guys. Mm-hmm. And she talks a lot about that.
Right.
Like there's so many black women that treat her crappy.
And I've talked to black women about it, and they have their reasons, and I get it, because a lot of it has to do with and while we are not, and I'm not speaking for black women because obviously I'm Hispanic, but I'm not black, but there's this cultural thing where black women are constantly being told they're not enough, they're too dark, they don't fit society's whatever. And so the understanding I've come on part of it is that when a black man dates a non-black woman or even a mixed woman, they're not dating that type of woman, which just further affirms that they're not what society thinks is beautiful.
Yeah, I don't buy that. Like I feel like that's personal.
I think a lot of it is,
like,
but there is a lot of societal and cultural in there that you would really have to get in and have a conversation with somebody,
them to
really understand it.
I'm not trying to have that with you.
No. But I just mean like, I think it is personal, but I think to an extent it really is societal and cultural.
You could say that. I feel like you could, kind of spruce up the tradition of white culture, and you could say that same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, but
yeah, I don't think it's just limited to that.
Like if a white guy, would say like, white people shouldn't be white. All I hear is, I don't want a nigger in my family.
Right.
Like that kind of stupid,
ignorant conversation.
Yeah. But I still need an answer from you. Like, what can I use?
I don't know. I've completely lost track of what we were talking about. I don't know. I think there came a point where I was just like, you know.
Like, what do you
That's
say? Like,
stupid.
if you're frustrated, and it's not even like a serious frustration.
Right.
Because I actually usually say, "God damn it," if I'm like really frustrated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, or mother, and I always hold like the fucker.
Which
was
I don't
like
understand.
Weird fucking, like, there's a weird habit I picked up on.
Right. I don't know. I just say fuck balls a lot. Fuck balls is one of my favorites.
See, to me, that's too funny.
Shit stain. I like. they're just words that it's like, I don't know.
So just try to replace it with a different.
Yeah, just something that what you mean to say, I guess, instead of using a slur. Probably just use a stupid fucking term that doesn't mean anything. Like shitballs. Shitballs is funny.
It is.
Fuck nuts. Fuck nuts is funny. But who gets offended by that? People who are offended by cussing. Will. But yeah,
at some point.
But it's a minority of people that are actually offended by things like.
Someone could argue that with the N-word. No, I'm just.
No, I know. I know.
No. But you know, I don't know. Like I said, I think probably the most listened to show we ever had was actually about a year ago. And it was it was like a 2-hour debate. Like, it was brutal about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And I changed about 3 people's minds inside that room that we were in the studio that we were having that conversation at. You know, like, and it was horrible. But and I'm the first like person who will, I don't know, like you seen like Bat Kid Begins?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking,
it's so good.
Oh, but it's horrible. Like,
it's
or
good,
Dear
though.
Zachary.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
fucking!
Sad.
I cried.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll cry at like Click, the Adam Sandler movie. You know, like, we don't have that much time. You know,
it's
like,
so sad.
I am a bleeding heart liberal.
You really are. You are.
But like, can't you see like people being satirical about stuff? Like, you know,
I can.
Why does it have to be?
I think
Because I think when we do this, we lose out, like comedians like Louis C.K. or Jim Norton or Jim Jeffries. Like, yeah, they're fucking, I don't know, they're very offensive, but part of the funniness is how
that they're offensive.
Yeah, like, can't we just take a joke for a joke?
I don't anymore. I really feel like that's the problem. Like, we've become a society of fucking pansies. Like, we really have. Have we not?
But by saying that, isn't that make you on the other side? Like, the side you don't want to be on?
No, but I'm very, you know me, and you've known me for a long time. Like, I try very hard to please everybody and to make it, but there comes a point where you just, like, fuck, man.
No,
like,
right. No, I
there
agree.
comes a point where it's like, are you really so easily offended that I can't open my fucking mouth? Like, there are so much shit that we can't talk about at work because like, we actually have a new rule that has been implemented that we can't talk about politics at work.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd get fired.
Which is so hard.
Yeah.
Especially right now. Like, it's so hard.
That seems... See...
Or that if somebody brings it up, we have to shut it down.
Really?
Yeah. And it's really hard because you just want to look at somebody and go, are you really? Are you
Trump, are you serious?
really that fucking stupid? Like, and, I mean, you vote for who you vote for, but it just, I don't know.
What? I mean...
I have my opinions.
You'll lose some respect from me.
That's a whole other...
Which we're going into next, so...
Are we? Oh, okay.
Well, you know, we can... But just... So it's okay to be...
I think it's
against...
Yeah.
The pussification.
Yes. I think it's okay. I just think... I really think... You can have your opinions and you can say what you want to say, but I think really being aware of who you say them around and how you say them is more important in a lot of cases. Like this kid, like that kid I was telling you about earlier.
Right.
So he went on, like, he started at That's Retarded, then he went to That's Gay, then he did a joke about crackers drowning in the water, soggy saltines, or I don't remember what it was. Then he went to a white guy, a Chinese guy, and a black guy joke, and then he asked me the difference between Batman and a black guy. And at one point I was like, It's really hard to offend me. I am very PC, but this is really hard to offend me. I actually had to walk out
What?
and leave.
Quick question.
You want to know what the joke was, don't you?
No. You can't talk about politics, but this guy can.
But yeah, and so the argument with my boss was, you have a right to shut this down. You're the manager, and this is your client, and you have every right to shut this down. And she said, well, I wasn't offended by it. And I said, so, yeah, I know. So we got into this huge argument, and I essentially said, so just because you're not offended by it, that makes it okay. And she was kind of like, well, yeah. And I said, well, I'm going to remember that. But all of that to say...
But what? It's your boss?
But she looked at me and she said, well, I say stuff like that. And I said, so you have conversations like that while you're at work?
Which is totally fucked up.
And she said, well, no, I wouldn't talk like that at work. And I said, that's my point. Is that, if you talk like that at home with your parents or your friends or whatever, that's your business. Because you're doing it around a group of people that probably feel exactly the same way. When you're doing that at work, you have to be really conscious of who you're around and who you're going to offend. And when you're trying to bring people in, you have to be really, especially in a place like where I work, where it is really open. So you have to be mindful of who you're going to offend and who you're going to...
Well, okay, first one question. Is she a Trump supporter?
No, she's not. That was what was really surprising, yeah.
Because I would think that's why she wouldn't want to talk politics.
No, that's actually a corporate rule.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
It's actually a huge rule that's been passed down. But
my other thing though is, as you were saying, like if you're around like-minded people, like that's okay.
I don't think it makes it okay, but I don't think it makes it okay.
Especially now, where like people are recording you.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like the guy that Donald Sterling. Like he lost an entire NBA team.
Right.
Because of saying that, like, I don't know, like,
I think, but I think too,
part
like,
of me is actually on his side, even though I hate being on that side. But it's like, yeah, it is really fucked up.
But I think too, like with Louis, I love Louis C.K. and I like Jim Jeffries, but they also know their audience,
right?
And so I think that comes back into play a lot, is knowing your audience, knowing who you're around, and being aware of, like, because she can go and talk however she wants around like-minded people, and that's one thing. But when you're in a group of different-minded people and people who you need to have them around and you want them around, you have to be really mindful of who you're going to offend and who you're going to upset, because there's a lot
you never know. Yeah. No, and I mean, there's a lot of, I think that kind of thing is gone. Like Jay-Z was like the same thing. Like, if you don't like my music, skip it.
Yeah, don't listen to it. And then there is definitely a point to that.
There is.
But there's an audience. But there's a specific set of audience. I mean, people who don't like rap music don't listen to it.
Right.
They get offended by it, but that's such a small minority. It's like...
But yeah, no, I mean...
It's such a small minority that people just, don't listen to it, and then they stop.
But if you're openly... like the Donald Sterling thing. Like, he didn't ask to be on that platform.
And that's fair.
And I hate to say it too, the Donald Trump thing.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
I see what you're saying.
It's a shitty side to it. It really is.
No, I see what you're saying though, because it's you can't tell people to be who they are and then expect them not to be who they are.
Right.
But I think there's an amount of couth and amount of awareness that you just have to have, and that doesn't mean you can't be yourself. It just means you have to watch your fucking mouth a little.
Yeah, like, you can't always. I don't know. Part of me wants to know, like, that's you. It's like, if that is you, I don't like you.
Right.
But whatever. My other question goes into the election. How are we here?
Oh my god. I don't know. Like, and I think me and Dad had this conversation about a year and a half ago when Trump decided he was going to run. And
back when, like, nobody took him serious.
Yeah, way back when nobody took him serious. And I looked at Dad and I said, oh my god, he's going to be our next president. And he looked at me and he laughed and he said, no, he's not. Nobody's going to, this is not a thing.
Especially then, yeah, because Bush
and
was still a possibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said, no, if he's not our president, he's going to be a serious candidate. Do you know why? And he said, why? And I said, because people love bullshit. and people love drama. People watched his show. People watched his, and people feed off of that crap of drama and hatred and bullshit. They love it. And so I think that's how we got where we are. It's like, did you ever see Idiocracy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, is that really where we're going? Like,
and like the thing you hear more than not from Trump supporters is, well, Hillary.
Yes,
is done
it's always Hillary.
And like as a Democrat, I didn't want Hillary.
Yeah,
I wanted Sanders.
I did too.
You know,
I did.
And I think
I cried a little when
I think Hillary
wasn't a
is
thing.
dirty.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But do you really think that Trump will win?
I don't know. I'm really scared. I really am. And people laugh at me when I say that, but I really am like.
No, I know.
Afraid. Yeah. I've never been afraid. Even when GW got reelected, I wasn't afraid. I was annoyed.
We knew it was going to happen.
I was irritated.
That was horrible.
I was annoyed, but I knew it was coming.
I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, people don't think. I don't know. Maybe they do, but they don't understand that. Like, I was one of many people. Yeah, I understand what you're saying because, with GW, we understood like ISIS came after that.
You know what though?
The market fell
ISIS
after
came
him.
way before GW. ISIS started back up in the 70s. It started.
Well, you're thinking Al-Qaeda.
Because those people didn't just wake up one day and were like, "Oh, I hate America." They were born into. There was a whole.
You're thinking of Al-Qaeda though.
No, I'm thinking of. Thinking of.
Because ISIS is like the collective of a bunch of terrorist groups.
Right, but people are like, "Oh, ISIS started." I just really feel like it came. It wasn't just like one day somebody was like, "Oh, I hate America." So.
No, but they weren't allowed to form like that because of Saddam Hussein.
Right. So
which
now that
a lot of people
gone.
Realized. Like, I was against going into Iraq because, like, he's a fucking asshole. I get it, but you know what? He keeps shit, in line.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's a rough, but the economic collapse happened. Fucking horrible. Like any Republican, I hate to say it, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Trickle down effect does not work. Never.
God,
has.
it never has.
No.
It never has, and it never will. Because people are. It's the same reason communism or socialism won't work. Because people are by nature greedy.
Yeah.
People by nature don't want to help other people.
No.
They want for themselves.
So, okay, let's say Trump wins.
Yeah.
We can't say faggot.
No, I think if Trump wins, you can say whatever the hell you want.
He wants to start suing media for opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
really?
a lot of people have negative opinions about him.
Ah, that's true.
And so he wants to, like, even our show could be sued.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, we're talking fucking Hitler
Fascism.
level.
Like,
yeah.
We're talking about fascism now. Oh my God.
So, yeah, okay, Trump wins.
Sounds like Russia.
We can't say certain words. Do you move? And does America suck? Like, I think I would actually be against America. I'd be like, no, me and my buddies in Canada here.
I feel like I'm going to be like one of those guys that's like, hey, don't believe me. I just live here, man. Like, I'm with you. I didn't want this guy. I didn't vote for him. I didn't.
I don't think I can do. I think me and Jameson are packing up. We're like Charlie Chaplin, that little kid, walking. I don't even remember the.
Yeah, it's called the kid. Yeah.
Just walking up to Canada.
Trucking it to Canada.
Yeah.
You're just gonna leave Steph behind.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll let her decide.
Yeah, she can make her own choices.
She's kind of a Nazi, so.
Yeah, whatever.
She's all about killing ethnics and stuff,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, it sounds like her.
It is. But yeah, no, like.
I don't know. We've talked about it a couple of times, and it always ends in, I can't talk about this anymore.
No, it's a
I can't do this
thought.
anymore.
You want to be prepared.
But now but now I'm at this point where it's like, no, we kind of have to talk about this because it's a very real thing now.
2 days.
2 days. That's terrifying.
It's even less, actually.
I can't talk about it.
I'm done.
I feel like one of those rich white
Too
women.
real.
I feel like one of those rich white women that just let their children do whatever they want.
Right.
Live in denial. It's like, No, I can't. I can't handle America right now.
It's fucking...
It's so scary.
It's awful.
It really is.
And I don't think enough people realize why... You know, because for me, I've always said it's not Trump I'm exactly against. Although I am. But it's Pence.
Yeah.
Pence is a dirty motherfucker.
I'm against Trump. I'm against Pence. I'm against their policies. Like, there's nothing about them that I am remotely okay with. So it's
right.
Like, because I've also seen people like, well, it's not a popularity contest. No, it may not be a popular, but his policies don't make me happy either.
And that's where I've always been.
So,
like, I won't debate WikiLeaks, or I won't
Facebook.
debate pussy grabbing, or I won't debate any of that.
Yeah.
I only debate policies.
Right.
And no Trumper has ever...
Yeah.
They don't even
have a response.
No.
Yeah.
Even the Gary Johnson people. Because I was talking to a friend of mine who's a very big fan of Gary Johnson. I was like, he's trying to attack the poor. And they're like, well, how? He's a libertarian. I don't know why they somehow think like...
because you're a libertarian or because you're a Democrat, you are a certain type
and you're not going to go after... Like, no, he wants to raise sales tax 28%. That's fucking horrible.
That is terrible.
Poor people could not... You couldn't afford groceries
I can't
anymore.
afford that now. I can't afford groceries as it is.
Right.
And I work full-time and so does my husband. Like...
Oh, exactly.
I miss Bernie. I want Bernie. I want to, like, Tuesday morning... Go ahead.
That would have been the best.
It's like a love affair. Like, I'm just like, oh, I miss Bernie.
No, it sucks that that's
It's like the one that got away. Like, oh yeah, like I'm waiting for like Tuesday morning. I'm waiting
you think
for the Democratic Party to just be like, we're just fucking with you. We're just Bernie won. Bernie won.
That would be amazing. But Tim Kaine, I would take him over. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel like that might happen.
You really think so? You think the third party, the two-party system will...
Well, I think, like... No, not Gary Johnson.
Tim
Kaine.
Oh, Tim Kaine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I misspoke. You're fine.
I maybe. For one, I don't know if I believe 90% of what they're saying about Hillary. I don't know. Some of it... And, like, I've read some of the WikiLeaks things, and... Like, it's really weird.
It's kind of iffy.
It is.
But then you go look at the Trump stuff, and it's like... Have you ever looked at some of the Trump stuff on WikiLeaks? It's all,
no,
like
it's
haven't, like
honestly. I heard most of it's just who he is.
It's like Kim Jong-il, like just kind of like deleted stuff. You know, like how he just deletes stuff so you don't see what he doesn't want you to see. But then there's just like it goes from like a 4-page document to like a half a page.
Right, right.
And it doesn't make any sense because most of it's gone.
Well, and like I think the biggest thing I've heard about the WikiLeaks thing is why, like, I don't know, Hillary sold uranium to the Russians and whatever, but it's like, for one, she was like one of 26 people on that board.
Yeah.
And if I'm understanding it right, it was all in Antarctica, where we were at a massive standoff with them. Like, most people don't even know this happened like, a couple years ago. I saw it on Vice. But we were at a standoff, like, both militaries were up there actively, like, debating who gets what. Mm-hmm. And I think that was part of it. So, like, that's not bad. That was just them figuring things. Yeah. I don't know. Like, another thing, and I don't know, maybe you might know this, but why do the Russians want Trump to win? And, like, why are we okay with that?
I don't quite understand the love affair between Putin and Trump. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
And, like, why doesn't that bother us, though?
Oh, it should.
Yeah, like...
It should be it should bother people. I don't know why it doesn't bother more people, because if you've ever really looked at Russia at all with Putin, it's not a good place. I mean, it's very clean.
What doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense to me is they say Hillary sold Russia uranium.
So that's terrible. But Trump likes Putin, so we're.
But then Putin wants Trump to win,
and nobody's.
Well, if Hillary's in bed with Putin, then why doesn't Putin want her? Like, I'm so confused on all that.
I don't understand it. It's scary. I'm amazed at how many, and there's always going to be, like, racist people in the world, but I'm amazed at how many, like...
Still exist?
I'm just amazed at how many, like, closet racists have come out in the last 18 months.
I know a lot of people that say it's not about... They don't like the way he acts.
No, but, like, I've heard people, like, and I'm like, Trump. And I'm like, what?
I know.
I had to almost kick somebody out of my chair the other day because he was talking about black music. That wasn't the word he was using, but he was talking about black music and how his girlfriend loves that stupid fucking black music.
And dick.
Yeah.
She loves the black dick.
I was like, probably. But, like, I was like, you really are going to have to stop.
So he wasn't saying black.
No, he was definitely using it, and he was very loud about it.
How do you not get beat up? I mean, if you're using it in an aggressive manner,
Yeah.
I'll beat your ass up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you
I don't
know?
know. I don't know, because it's just like, you can't, I was like, you need to stop or I'm going to have to stop the service. And then he was offended
you know what
because
you
I
should've-
wasn't okay with him using the N-word.
You know what you should have done?
What?
You should have just act like nothing bothered. You know, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then shaved KKK in the back of his head.
I should have. That would have been hilarious.
That, you know, or MLK.
Why don't
Maybe, you know,
Why don't I think of better things?
because you're a nice person.
Yeah, probably.
I think about things that would actually, you know, fuck with
Fuck
somebody
with
bad.
somebody, yeah. Ian's really good at that. He's like, we should have done that. And I'm like,
Well,
Fuck it.
like, you don't want to lose your gig, you know.
I was the only one in there though. Who would have known?
Oh, that's a good point.
You know?
You're gonna be like, oh, this fucking racist dude.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You know, fuck.
It just slipped. I don't know.
But okay, going along. You've been doing cosmetology for
About 7 years.
Jesus Christ. We're old. By
Yeah,
the way.
we are old. It sucks.
Oh, it does. Well, we just had the anniversary of this show like a couple weeks ago, and it was
Really?
like we've been doing this for 2 years. And I'm like,
That's crazy.
Jesus fucking Christ!
It seems like it was yesterday that you told me that you were going to start a podcast. Like,
I know. For like the first year, I didn't really tell a lot of people.
yeah. But I remember
especially-
you telling me like, I'm doing this. Don't tell anybody.
And like especially when we got our first. I can't even say the 2 letters, but once we got onto.
Yeah.
I didn't want anyone to know because then they could find it and hear us.
Yeah.
Like I don't want.
Yeah, I don't want anyone
Yeah.
to know. Yeah.
I've made, whatever. But the fact that I was like, gee, the fact that my son is 4, fuck.
I can't believe he's already 4. That's my kid's gonna be a year old.
We have kids.
Like that blows
I
my
mean,
mind that I have a kid,
Right.
and that he's almost a year old.
Before
like,
you know it, he'll be in school.
What? He tells me no. He doesn't say it.
They don't ever
He just
stop.
looks at me and he goes, and he smiles like a little asshole. The other
They
day,
will never stop. By the way.
oh my god. The other day, he can walk, which I'm okay with. But like, I went to like 10 feet. I went to go change the trash can. In the 10 feet it took me to change the trash can, he had walked across the room, up onto the couch, took my cup of water and like dumped it all over the floor, and then just smiled and laughed at me. I was like, you asshole.
Yeah, that's.
And then I walked back at him, and he like, haha, and he threw the cup and he ran off into the corner. I was like,
You know what
you're
the bad
kind of
thing
a dick.
is? You can't say that too.
No, you can't. Well, I did. But I was
Did you
like,
really?
I was like, you're kind of a little asshole, kid. You kind of pissed me off.
I would love
and
to
I shouldn't.
see. That's hilarious.
But
'cause,
he's
like, we were
but he's
talking
11
about-
months. He's not going to retain that.
You think he won't?
I don't do it often. It just was like I was really upset about that.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was "God damn it."
Oh yeah, no.
Jameson repeated
Yeah,
a
no.
long time ago,
No, I can't.
and like I had to stop. And I'm like, "Oops," you know.
There's a lot of, and I really censor myself around my kid. I do. But sometimes I'm just like,
But that's hilarious.
You're kind of
that
a
we
little
were,
asshole.
We were talking about like how I'm the one who says all these things.
yeah.
Like, and I'm such a little pansy.
But
at
I think
home.
that's, but do you see what I mean though? Like, there's that point where you censor yourself.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
shit
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't say
yeah.
at home. So,
I get to a point though now too where like yesterday he wanted it's like he has a whole fuck ton of Halloween candy, but I'm like an organic parent, you know, where like he fucking eats shit he shouldn't.
yeah.
But I try to make sure everything is organic, like his peanut
Do
butter.
you really?
Oh fuck yeah! Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're the organic parent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Out
yeah.
of the two of us.
100%. Yeah.
That blows my fucking mind.
His peanut butter is the shit you gotta grind.
Oh
you know?
my god.
Yeah.
You're like serious about this shit. Like
I
you're
am.
a much better parent than I am.
Well, I don't know about
I'm
that.
like threw that tortilla on the floor.
It's fine.
He'll eat it later. It'll be fine.
No,
There's
well,
Cheerios on the floor, and they're there all afternoon. I'm like, for a snack later.
I've watched enough
documentaries.
Yes, thank you. And that's where it comes from. Is
I
like
don't
just
have
the
to, but
shit. Like sugar, I'm so against sugar.
Yeah.
And we were raised on soda, and it's like, holy fuck, our parents were trying to
I
kill
don't let
us.
it. There's a lot of stuff I don't let him have, but like organic shit, that's just a lot of work.
It's expensive too.
Yeah,
I won't lie.
we're so poor. That's not a thing in my life.
That is a big issue. The whole I have a story, but I actually don't have much time.
That's fine.
And I want to give you your chance to plug your what you do.
I'm a hairdresser. I do hair. I work at the Smart Style in Newton. So
and get a would you want people to get a hold of you through Facebook or not, or just
yeah,
come in
like
and find
Julia,
you? Or?
Yeah, my Facebook page is Julia Long Cosmo, so it's pretty easy to find. And that's usually where I run all my
And you can make
advertisements and
appointments
stuff.
that way.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can get a hold of me and I can tell you how to make appointments. So
cool,
it's pretty easy.
Well, thanks a lot for your input today. I
Thank you for
really
having
needed
me.
somebody. I'd been bugging people the last 3 days and no one came in.
Aww, thanks I'm glad I was your last choice.
So well, no,
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
again, you gotta do the show again.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
love to get as many people as we can possible.
For sure.
Well, thanks
you know
a lot.
me, I'm always up for it.
We will see you guys. I think Tuesday we're gonna do a live election.
Whoop, whoop.
That'll be interesting. Maybe even Facebook Live. I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Thanks for listening.